Good morning. It's time for cards and coffee. So the only kitty drama that I had this morning was that Joy's water dish was frozen completely through. And so I had to go find her heated one and plug that in and get it filled up. It is cold here, you guys. Oh my gosh, it's like 11 degrees out there again. It's horrible. I'm looking forward to summer again. I'm done with winter. I can just move along. All right, today we're going to be working with the new Curvy Christmas that is going to be available for you guys to order on the 2nd or 3rd of November. And it's a really cool set, so I'm going to go ahead and turn things around so that you can see what we're working with. Okay, I'm going to turn this on our head, but not make you watch that. Ta-da. All right, so this has a couple of pieces to it. I'm gonna move this so that we can see what's going on. There is a die cut, because die cuts are awesome. So these two are edge dies. This one is floral and leaves, and then the rest of these match up with the Quite Curvy stamp set. So we have this big one here. We've got the little birds, some greenery, and then there's these little holly sprigs. We're going to be working with the Curvy Christmas stamps. And these are so super cute. There's stars and trees and bows. And then these are the little holly sprigs that hang down from the bows. So we're just going to play around. I don't have a whole lot of plan with this today. We're going to be using some Classic Christmas 6x6 DSP. There are 12 different designs in here. And I separated them out so we can take a look at them. So there's 4 different designs in 3 different colors, and then there's front and back, different designs. I love these papers. These go really well with the shaded spruce and the cherry cobbler. And then this is the Sahara sand. I'm going to add that in. Tiny dots with some holly sprigs. And then this reminds me of cheesecloth and some stripes. And then you get 48 sheets in here, so there's a lot of repeats so that you can do whatever you want with it. So let's figure out what we want to do. Well, hello, Rosie. What are you doing over there? I'm really kind of digging that square. Oh, let me get my computer set up too so that I can follow along with comments. Here I am. Good morning, Deb. I'm so glad you're here. So I'm kind of thinking I want to work with one of the stripes. Maybe that one. And I really love this. And then I've also brought some cardstock matches. Well, the really red doesn't like totally match, but we're going to make it work because Christmas is all about, and it's going to be fun. So we're going to run some of this through die cutter. think I really want to work with this one, because this is going to be able to do two things for us. We're going to get this nice kind of florally, fleur-de-lis pattern, and then we're also going to have this nice straight edge cut. So let's do some of both. Let's take our cardstock down to a manageable size. These are 6 by 6, so we'll go ahead and cut these into 6 inches as well. So is it cold this morning at your place, Deb? Do you have snow yet? It snowed here yesterday, but it didn't stick. So I'm just going to run this through the die cutter, kind of like straight through the middle, so that we have a piece with this curve and a piece with the other curve. So I'm going to be off camera for a bit, and we can have different curves too. That'll be fun. So I might play around with that a little bit. All right, you know that my die cutter is off camera over here. Sorry about that. I am still holding out for the small version of the cut and emboss machine, so that it can be portable. All right, so here's what I ended up with, and we're just going to do that with the other sheets as well. And I'm just going to randomize the angle that I have the die on there, so we end up with some interesting, fun shapes to play with. Here's our red. And there goes my die on the floor. You can't see, but you can follow along by the sound. And the kitties know the sound of dies hitting the floor really well too. I'm surprised I don't have several of them over here, because they love to, they travel really well on our floors. So if one of them gets batted by a kitty toe, then who knows where it's going to end up at. There's that one. Our papers are next. When I get the little machine, you guys, I'll be able to show you everything that's going on. That'll be a lot more fun. This one, I ran these through together because on the DSP you can do 2 sheets at once, and we're going to do some weeding and pop all of those out of there. See, this one came through with everything punched out because it's all on the sand color. One more. Okay, so here's all the pieces we're going to work with today. And our little take a pick tool, if you take off the guard for this one, then we can pop everything out of our dies, clean it up a little bit before we put it away. Die cutting is messy. You end up with little paper bits all over the house. There's no sound coming through, seriously? Can you hear me now? All right, hold on. I'm gonna message you and Cole, can you follow along with your cell phone and help me troubleshoot this? It says that we have sound, but Deb says she doesn't hear anything. And the sound is all the way up. And it was working last night for the live. All right, Deb, did that just bring some sound on? That's good now. Okay.
Is it working, you think?
Yeah, she says it's good now. That's so weird. All right, well, everybody who hasn't joined in yet, when you go back and watch the replay on this, you're not going to have any sound at the beginning. We don't know why. We're currently working with the Curvy Christmas set that's going to be available for you guys on the 3rd of November. And it comes in a couple of different pieces. You can buy a bundle, or you can buy each piece individually. These are the curvy dies. There are 2 edge dies here, along with a floral, and then there is the Quite Curvy stamp set that it has the dies cut out here for the ivy, for the little birds, this little floral piece here. And then the stamps have a lot of really nice sentiments for going into spring. And I'm all about the let's get going into spring. The piece of it that we are working with today, besides the curvy dies, is the Curvy Christmas stamps. And these have some trees, some stars, a lot of just really fun Christmas elements. This little bow, and then we've got the mistletoe sprigs that hang down. Some snow, stars. So we will be getting to that in a minute. What we've done so far is to cut out some of our papers. And here you can see how cool these edge cuts are, because it makes a pattern, a design on one side, and then a nice straight curve on the other side. And we'll be using both of those. And it looks like that punched out all of the way. That's good. This one is going to take just a little bit of weeding with our take a pick tool. to punch out the little paper bits. And you can see the red kind of got impacted along with it, and that's okay. It'll come out as well. If there was more to this than there is, I would drag out take a pick, the little brush tool, and we would do it. But it's not, it's going to take as long for me to go get it and set it up as it does to just punch these out. So. Thank you for the coffee too. I didn't mention that when you were over here earlier, but I appreciate that, Cole. I was late getting the coffee started because I was outside working with Joy's frozen water bowl.
Maybe the sound is waiting for your coffee.
The sound, the computer needed coffee before it could run the sound. See all the bits and bobs. Soon to be seen all over my home. Cole did come up with kind of a cool way of keeping all of the little die cut shards contained. He just brings the vacuum over here and leaves it sitting by the die cutter when he's working with it, and then just vacuums everything up as he goes. One more. We're almost there. Almost where we can do fun stuff. Hey Heather, good morning. We are working with the Curvy Christmas stamps and the Curvy dies that are a pre-release from the January to June mini catalog, that they will be available to order in, or at least this part of the catalog will be available to order starting November 1st. No, 2nd, maybe the 3rd. Anyway, early November. Alright, so I know I want to do at least 2 cards. Might have enough for even more here. And the stamps, the colors that we're using are the Shaded Spruce and the Cherry Cobbler. They're going to show up best on our sand pieces, so we'll probably want to keep those in the center. And work with the dots. I love that. And the stars. So now we're just going to find a combination that we love. And do something like that. Let the stars show through. That's kind of cool because it looks like a sky behind there. I'm kind of thinking maybe that looks like a card. I'll set that aside. And that might be another one right there. What do you guys think? Do you love this set? Do you love it like I do? The only one that's like really not speaking to me are these little trees. But I do love the other side of what's on the little trees. Hello, Juliet. Are you coming up here? Okay. So we might be getting 4 cards out of this. That one I'm going to have to find something else with. It just seems so busy. So busy. There we go. All right. What do you guys think? Does this look like a nice set of 4 cards right there? I'm going to take a drink of my coffee. What are you guys drinking this morning? Heather, what kind of tea do you have? Are you doing tea latte? Deb, how about you? This is my Sanderson sister special from Java Mama. It is so good. And it's very seasonal, seasonally appropriate. All right, so let's set all but one of these aside and make some card bases. Grab our stamps. Now we're going to need some different size stamp blocks than what we normally use on these. So I've brought a couple of the rectangular ones. It looks like it doesn't fit, but it actually does. And I'm going to show you how to make the curve work for you, because you are not stuck with the curve that it is currently shaped in. So Curvy Christmas is going to turn into the curve you want for Christmas. The first card bases. And I'm going to use white cardstock for a card base. We'll cut that into 5.5 along the 8.5 side. And then we're going to score at 4 1/4, and we're going to be just on the right side of the 4 1/4. That way we've got a little bit of a lip, so see that, so that people can open it very easily. right, so there we've got our 4 card bases. And let's figure out what we want to stamp on this, because that will kind of help us determine how they're going to go together on the cards too. I know that we want to work with the trees, the stars, and the sentiment. I'm kind of thinking, well, this one has stars on it, so let's just tie the stars into this one. And this is the shape our stars are in currently, but we want it to be a little different shape than that because we need it to follow our die. So, just going to press it onto my stamp block, and then we're going to fine tune that. All right. Cole, were you watching what I'm doing here? Is that
Yeah.
okay? Well, you can hang out. Cole made some beautiful cards with the curvy dies, and I will show them to you before we're done here. I want to show him the cards that you made with those too.
That's really fun set.
It is a fun set. I loved what you did with it. Okay, so see, we have completely changed the angle of the curve that we had there to begin with. I'm going to make sure that's seated on there nice and solid. And then we're going to stamp with it. And I'm kind of thinking the green, since it's going to be kind of down here. Looks like we got pretty good coverage, except for that spot right there. And can you grab me a paper towel, because I just dipped my block in the ink. Hold on, we got a little bit of triage to do, right? Because I do not want to mess up the rest of what we have going on. All right. Make sure that we're following the curve that we set it up for. And it's really easy on these narrow stamps to want to rock them back and forth, but don't do that, because if you do have any ink on your block, it's going to get onto your image, onto your cardstock. And there you go. We've got our stars following our curve. Clean this off with some Stampin' Mist. I'll be ready to go for next time. Yeah, see, I had a lot of green left on that block. Alright, and I'm kind of thinking we can put our sentiment right above that. And this too, it's got a slight bit of a curve to it, but it's not the curve that we want, so we're going to make it fit what we want, like so. Except we're going to do it in the way that the letters make sense. So it's kind of like when you're sewing and you need to gather something and you just kind of ease it in with your fingers. It's that same kind of concept. I'm going going to use the smaller block. The one that I was just using is the I block. This is the H. That's not bad. I think I want to adjust this part just a little bit. Hey Kathleen, welcome. It's nice to see you this morning. All right, let's do that one in the red. Our cherry cobbler red. And we're just going to put that right underneath the curve of the little hill that we just made. And that is how to get the curvy stamps to curve the way that you want them to. And I think that's going to be super cute. All right, so we're going to stick this together with some Stampin' Seal, and then let's move on to some of the other papers that we put together. And your Stampin' Seal will also follow a curve if you make it do it. So. All right, so there's one. I'm going to set that aside so that we can have some more fun here and see how much we can get through. This one might be kind of cute if we did the trees kind of back behind here and maybe put our sentiment across the sand on our DSP. What do you think? I think I'm liking that idea. The trees are the hardest ones to make be a different shape. So let's see what we're starting with here. I kind of think that we have exactly the opposite curve that we want, but we're going to see what we can do with it. And I'm just kind of eyeballing it for right now, and then we'll see how well we get it lined up. See this little angle right down here where it's got all the trees bunched together. That one's a little trickier. Let's see, we need more of a downhill slope, and then a curve rolling out of that. Okay, I think we got it. Yeah, that'll look pretty good. Let me get this part to cooperate. All right, and of course we're going to stamp our trees in green because we don't want our trees to look like they're on fire. We've all seen way too much of that. I'm just going to hold on to that little end so it doesn't decide to go anywhere. And some of our trees are going to be, you know, kind of doing this, but it's whimsical and it's holiday. It'll be fine. Not all trees grow the same. All right, and that's even cute with a little bit of that showing. It looks like an extra hill in the way. Yeah, let's see how close our sentiment is to being in the right place for this. And not even. Okay, that's fine. Good morning, Annette. Hey, it's nice to see you. We are playing with Curvy dies and the Curvy Christmas stamps this morning. And these will be available on the first part of November, like the 2nd or 3rd. I'm just giving you a little ideas ahead of time of what you can do with them. And I want to do this in red again. Right, let's put that right there. All right, now we're going to use our Stampin' Seal and put these together too. Kathleen, is Kelsey there with you? You guys would have so much fun doing this together. All right, now we have 2 of them. I'm kind of wanting to get them on card backs and do some embellishing. They don't want to run us out of time and not be able to do any pretty stuff. So here are our card backs that we just made, and somewhere I've misplaced my bone folders. Oh, they're there. I can hear them. So I want to give that a nice crisp edge. So obviously we're going to be cutting these down some. And I'm kind of thinking that maybe I want a piece of DSP to go around the whole card as a border, rather than just go from straight into the white into the pattern. What do you guys think? So we could do something. I don't know, maybe not that one specifically, this one. We could do like so, layer that a little bit. And the other option is to just take them directly onto the card itself. All right, so how about you guys weigh in on this and let me know which way you prefer, with a little bit of a frame border around there, or straight onto the card back. And while you're thinking about that, I know we have a little bit of a lag, so you've got some time. I'm gonna go grab some more coffee, because this is really, really good, and I want my cup to stay hot right now. Do we have any decisions yet? You like the white border? You like the straight on? All right, well, it sounds so far like we have a unanimous delegation. Heather and Kathleen, do you want to weigh in on this? Straight onto the card? All right. That's 3 for straight onto the card, so let's do it. All right, so remember our card is 5.5 inches by 4.25 inches. So we're going to have to cut down our design panels. And I'm really kind of liking the sentiment being a little bit offset on that one. Let's see. So let's just go ahead and straighten up that line. And then we'll cut the rest of it to size from there. And you might have to press a little hard when you get, because we're going through 3 layers. Not all of them. Be 2 layers of DSP and a layer of cardstock on this. So we want to go to 5.25. Let's make sure it stays straight. And then on this side, we're going to be at 4 even. And I kind of think I like the top of this, so maybe we take it off the bottom. And I'm trying to make sure that this all stays squared up while we're working too. We'll find out when we get ready to put it on the cards if I was successful at that. Yay, not too bad. All right, so there's our first one. And I think you guys are right, because now it looks like the stars are popping straight out of the white card back. So, good job on the decision. And here's our other one. And we've kind of got the same thing going on there, so this is going to be awesome. So we're going to take this down to 5.25, and I think we want to trim a little bit on each end of that one, because I can already tell that, you know, it's a little bit janky and off-centered, but we're going to square it up. So now we've got a flat side. Let's go ahead and measure for our 4.25. I knew we were going to end up taking off a lot of the red, and that's okay. This is a side we haven't cut yet, right? And that needs to be at 5.25, so we'll trim off just a little bit there. And then we only have the top to square up. Yep, we still need to trim a little bit more off the red. Okay. Right, because we're at 4, not 4.25. Oh, I like that. stuff out of the way. And okay. Thinking. All right, more coffee. You loving it? Oh, good. Good. Let's go ahead and just tack these down with some Stampin' Seal. We'll get them on the card backs. Because I'm just kind of feeling that next we embellish and do some bows and some glittery stuff. And one of the things I really like about these cards is this set is it's forcing me to work in horizontals. Usually I work in verticals, and I'm really loving this. I will have to put something cute on the inside there too, because I love to do that on cards. There's Julie in the background. Cole just came in from outside, and she's feeling very needy today, so she's chosen him as her current victim. All right, so I brought 2 different red ribbons with us, and maybe we'll just use both of them. We've got this thin, it's like 1/4 inch, and this is a red linen braid. This is the cool one that you can kind of poof out a little bit and make more homespun looking. And then I've got a double stitched red satin, and it's shiny on both sides, so it doesn't matter about your bows. Sometimes, you get ribbon that's like really shiny on one side and kind of matte on the other, so you have to be really careful how you tie your bow. You don't have to do that with this. And just pretty it up a little bit, and then we will trim the ends so that they have nice points. Satin's a little stiff. I usually work with linen ribbons just because they are so easy, and you can make them do what you want. Let's give this a nice little notched end. Julie's still trying to get Cole to pick her up. She's such a funny cat. She is the one that when we have parties and I ask what's on top of your refrigerator, and my answer is always Juliet. It's that cat. And she will go sometimes for a week, and we won't hardly see her other than while she's up there, and that's where she's... You just walked back in holding her. She got her way. Not happy with this end. I think it needs to go a little bit shorter. So we won't see her for days at a time, other than, knowing she's at the food, she's fine. She just doesn't really want any socialization. And then one day her social meter has run completely dry, and she has to have attention. She has to have it right now. And today's that day. Alright, so we have a bow with both trims. I think we need to make the leg on this one just a little bit shorter. Yeah. Alright, and then we're going to just fray that out a tiny bit. Because you probably had a suspicion that it's going to get frayed anyway, so make it look like it was meant to be that way instead of, oops, that happened. Okay. So now we just need to decide which card gets which bow. Actually, the more that I look at this particular bow, the less I'm loving it, so I may just tie a new one. Excuse me. Our neighbors were burning yesterday, so it was blowing towards the houses. Yay. Oh, I think I'm liking this bow better already. Yeah. Because no janky bows. Alright, so I could do something like that. And I think that's probably where I would place them if I did those on those cards, and probably just about swapped. No, probably do that one down here. But I really think I like this big bow on that one. What do you think? Is that good, you guys? All right. So a friend of mine showed me this, or she gave me this cool little thing. This came from my friend Jen. She made me a glue bucket. Isn't that awesome? It says, "What a dazzling demonstrator," and on the back, it's handmade by your biggest cheerleader. I just love it, and I love her too. So this is going to keep my multi-glue upside down all the time so that you guys don't have to wait for me to sit here and do this with my glue. And I'm going to go ahead and use the multi-glue on the satin bow, but we're going to switch over to the shimmery crystal effects for the linen, because I know that the glue is going to show through. And if it's going to show through, then it's going to be pretty, right? Right, so we're just going to set a stamp, an ink pad on that, and let it dry. Well, at least tack up enough that we're not going to be moving it. So this is the shimmery crystal effects. We're just going to, and then this way you don't have to worry about, oh, is it going to be enough to hold but not enough to see it, because it's glittery and it doesn't matter. If people can see it, then that's part of the design now. Because we're going to give it just a little more glitter with some snowflake embellishments that I brought. All right. Nope. Not quite stuck down enough to be able to work with it again yet. Maybe while that's going on, we'll just grab one of these other papers that we had set up. And make another card. I'm kind of thinking stars on this one too. So that they're all, you know, kind of have the same theme going on. We could do a line of stars. Look at that. That's that's already the shape of the stamp. That's going to make it really super easy for us. And then, but our sentiment. Our sentiment could go right here. We just have to reconfigure it. That might pinch our stars just a little bit. Maybe we should put that up here. I don't know if it's going to fit up there, to tell you the truth. Yeah. Okay, so think. So we could pull that up a little bit. That'd probably be better. You hear the wind gusting outside my house? It's so horrible out there today. I'm looking for the big stamp block. Where did I set it down at? Saying no, I'm not using it to hold anything down. We're doing that with the ink pads. Don't you love it when you set something down and it like totally disappears? There it is. Okay, so let's do, what do you think? Our stars in red and our sentiment in green. I'm going to swap this out because we don't want that bow going anywhere yet. I'm going to pull that down just a little bit so we have room to stamp. Pretty. This one is thin enough that when you try to run it through the Stampin' Scrub, that it kind of wants to buckle up. So I just sprayed some cleaner directly on it. Yeah, that's the wind. Are you hearing that? It's crazy. All right, we're going to switch this out for that. It's a good thing that wasn't inked up, huh? All right, right across there. And the sun is shining. It is so bright outside. The wind is like horrible. All right, now, same thing that we did last time. We're just gonna stamp and seal all this together. Make sure that we get the tape on the right side of what we're doing. Okay, so I think we're going to take just a little bit off this end and then let this be offset just a little bit because that's kind of a theme here. So we'll just stick with it. And I actually have that's the janky bow. We don't want that one. I have a couple more that I tied earlier. I was up at 4 because that's what Hazard's insulin schedule is right now. So I did a few things like tying bows while he was eating. Yeah, kind of like that. Big bow. That's the one we'll use for that one. All right. But until we take care of these, we're not going to be able to put our paper cutter up here. So, all right, so let me show you. You can see the glue here, but see all the sparkles in it? So it's okay to see the glue. This one, you can't see the glue, but it is stuck down. All right, these little snowflakes are part of the August to December mini catalog, and you get so many snowflakes in here. There's like 2 sheets, and they're iridescent. They're pink and yellow and blue and purple, and even though those aren't the colors that are on these cards, they are going to be fabulous because snowflakes go with everything. Unless it's July. And let's put one up here on the red just to give it a little extra blingy blingy. There. Let's see, you get just enough shimmer on that. Snowflakes are awesome. And that one wants to live there, but I don't want it to. Okay. Maybe time for a little more putty. So you guys, when you're working with your take a pick tool, if you need more putty or your putty is getting old and it's not sticky anymore, you can just wipe that off, and then give it a little bit of a turn, and some more of it will come up. And then you want to back it off just a little bit too, so that it doesn't keep coming out. All right, I want that one that was trying to go rogue. And let me put one down here, but not where it wanted to land. We'll strategically place it instead of letting. So there we go. There's the outsides of our card. Now let's do something cute on the inside too. I'm going to recap or take a pic so that the putty doesn't dry out. We have this cute bow. We could put a cute bow here in the corner, or maybe up in the upper corner. That would kind of make it look like a little gift. And I'm kind of feeling the cherry cobbler for the bow, but I don't want a bright bow. So we're going to stamp that off once and just use the second stamping. So let me show you what I mean. So here's how it would be bright using the first stamping, but then each successive stamping gets a little paler. It's still nice and crisp, but you can get several stampings. So if you wanted to do like a tone on tone on tone, you can totally do that. So you can get 4 really good images of varying color just by doing them in between. So I want this one right there, and maybe that one for the envelopes. So let me go grab some envelopes and we will do them at the same time. And I plan on this being a set of 4, so I'm going to go ahead and do 4 envelopes. And here is our other card blank. So we'll just do the inside of this one while this one and this one. Okay, 2 envelopes, 2 cards. All right, so there's our first stamp, our second stamp, and our third stamp. I just think it's fun when the insides on the envelopes have a little something. And down here in the lower left-hand corner is really about the only place that you can stamp on an envelope. Although we could have stamped across the back too. The post office doesn't frown on that, but they don't want anything in these 3 corners. And maybe we can switch it up a little bit, and we'll just put one right here. Because our cards aren't completely matchy-matchy, so it'll be all right. Alright, I'll set those aside for later. What time is it getting to be? Oh, I've kept you guys over the time I usually do. So thank you so much for hanging in here with me. We had a lot of fun today. And here are the cards that we made. And I will post a supply list. Usually it takes me a couple days to get to it. I'm hoping it won't take me that long today. This will be our third card, and then the fourth card in this set will be this one. And I will make them all, these two I will finish them to go with those. So, all right, I'm gonna flip us back around here. My cord's caught, hold on. All right. So thank you. Thanks for hanging out with me and for going over time. You guys have a fabulous Sunday, and I will see you next week, or I will see you, some of you in Winterfest before that, because I have a live next Saturday night in Winterfest. And if you're not part of Winterfest and you want to be, let one of us know, and we'll make sure that we get you in there. All right. See you later.